Hey Baddies, we want to take a quick minute to shout out our amazing sponsor, Eli Lilly, for supporting our mission here on Baddie to Baddie. Because of their generosity, we can keep these important conversations about breast cancer awareness, education, and advocacy going strong for our community of women of color. We send our sincere thanks to our partners at Eli Lilly for standing with us. Calling all permanent makeup artists. Discover how you can join our mission to empower breast cancer survivors of color with specialized permanent makeup services. It's more than makeup, it's a movement. Connect with us and find out how you can contribute to this empowering cause by visiting baddiebeautycollective.com. In return, you will receive free breast health education, permanent makeup trainings, and much more. The Baddie Beauty Collective is brought to you by For the Breast of Us, Artistry by Zuri, and PM Yukon. If you're a breast cancer survivor looking to boost your confidence and add a bit of swag to your new normal, this is your invitation to explore free and discounted permanent makeup services by artists trained in the specifics and nuances of skin for women of color. From eyebrows to 3D areola and scar transformation, join us and let your journey of empowerment begin. Check out the Baddie Beauty Collective, brought to you by For the Breast of Us, Artistry by Zuri, and PM Yukon by visiting baddiebeautycollective.com.
Welcome to Baddie to Baddie, a monthly podcast by For the Breast of Us, the first breast cancer community for all women of color, where we share real-life experiences, information, and education to help you live your best life after a breast cancer diagnosis. Welcome to Baddie to Baddie. Welcome to Baddie to Baddie.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is April, your Triple OG plus size Baddie, here with you on Baddie to Baddie. And we are so excited to have a guest with us, with me, Mel. Hey, Mel, welcome to the Baddie to Baddie. We're really happy to have you. I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. So we're just going to take the opportunity to have a conversation, just talk a little bit. So tell us about yourself, Mel. Where are you from?
I am from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Lovely, warm Caribbean. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that where you currently live?
Yes. Born and raised, and I currently live here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. How did you find out about For the Breast of Us?
After diagnosis and surgery, I kind of went looking for resources, mainly resources that featured women that look like me. Mm-hmm. So I stumbled upon For the Breast of Us, and I was hooked. I'm like, oh, yay, this is nice. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When were you diagnosed, and what was your diagnosis?
I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma in 2020, December 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit about, did you find it yourself, or what was going on with you at the time?
I did find it myself. My mom has, on my mother's side, we have a history of breast cancer. So my sister and I, we were always taught to look and what to look for and what to pay attention to. So I was doing this routine kind of self-check in the shower and felt something that felt a little angry. And I got my ultrasound done because I was 36 at the time. And I wasn't able to access a mammogram because like the protocols say you need to be over 40 or something. And So I did an ultrasound, I did a biopsy, and it was confirmed that it was stage 2 breast cancer.
Wow.
Stage 1, actually. I was diagnosed as stage 1, and by the time I went in for surgery, it had grown to stage 2.
What was the wait time from diagnosis to surgery?
Diagnosis was December 3rd, like a day before my birthday, and surgery happened in March the following year.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Wow.
it didn't grow by much. Apparently, it grew just enough to take me over to the stage 2 level. So
Mm-hmm.
here
Mm-hmm.
we
Okay. So how are you doing? How have things been going?
great. I
Wonderful.
Yeah, I did surgery in 2021 in March. Healed from that. Still healing, I guess, kind of always healing. And
Mm-hmm.
that was followed by like 6 rounds of chemo, which was interesting, and then
Mm-hmm.
radiation, which was very interesting. And now I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a producer in Trinidad, so I have a digital platform, a media platform. So getting back into making creative work and producing shows and all that, it took me some time, but we're here now.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you said you're a producer.
Yes.
Tell us about your shows.
Well, one show I did this show after surgery, but before
Okay.
chemo.
Okay.
And it's this one-on-one interview type show where creators interview each other. They're speaking to each
Okay.
other. It's called Between Us. So that's supposed to come out because I rushed my work schedule. It's supposed to come out at the end of this year,
Okay.
and I'm in pre-production now for another show that focuses on wellness and creative well-being with different performers and entertainers in the Caribbean.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay. You have to make sure to share with us before we end our podcast. You'll have to share with us your social media handles so that way we can follow
sure.
you and keep up with what you're
Definitely.
doing.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's great. So I heard you mention that you have a family history of breast cancer and that you learned at an early age to start doing the self exams. Now, were you able to do genetics testing before you had surgery
No,
and chemotherapy?
no, we wanted to get it done, but just with how everything was kind of running, because I was diagnosed like in the middle of the pandemic. We
Mm-hmm.
were on lockdown, like everything was just kind of up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to move quickly with everything, and trying to balance that speed and that urgency with receiving this kind of life altering news. I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like, okay, let's focus on this, and this, and
Mm-hmm.
genetic testing kind of fell to the wayside
Okay.
because I was also, the intention was also to figure out how to preserve eggs and all these kind of things, and that couldn't happen before. So just kind
Okay.
of let certain things go, and I had to make peace with that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, have you had a conversation with your doctor about possibly doing genetics testing now that you have had you've gone through treatment and you've had surgery, but um, there's also some other things that can be determined based on the genetic testing results.
Yeah, the conversation has happened. It's still a possibility. I
Mm-hmm.
have just been more focused on like work and staying on top of my medication and the regularity of that more than the testing. I have been encouraging my sister to get tested though because
Mm-hmm.
we never know how that could go as well. But
Right.
yeah, the possibility is still there.
Okay. Okay. And do you have children?
No, no, I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
A 4-year-old nephew who is like my child, but
Okay.
don't know.
Okay, okay. Fly auntie status. I love
Yes,
it. I'm fly auntie as well.
it's a good place to be.
It
It's a good,
is. It
yeah, you
is.
have to give them back. It's great.
You do. You get to spoil them, have fun with
Hmm.
them, get them to tell you all of their secrets that they won't tell their parents. And then you're like,
Exactly.
gotta go because Auntie got things to do.
Exactly.
Okay. Wonderful. Great. Great. So you've been through you've been through your journey, and now that you're on the other side of your journey, what do you see yourself doing now? Are you interested in doing advocacy work in breast cancer? What you thinking?
I'm definitely interested in advocacy work. My background, I'm sorry, he is now distracted.
I understand.
Oh, Lord.
That's your
Um,
nephew?
yes.
Okay, okay.
My background is actually in social work. I started my career at the YMCA, doing sexual and reproductive health
Mhm.
advocacy. Sorry, 1 minute. Yes, my love. Okay. Okay. Have fun. His cousins are yeah. So I started my career at the YMCA doing as an outreach facilitator and
Mhm.
an advocate for sexual and reproductive health and rights.
Mm.
So this is kind of my wheelhouse. Immediately I knew I wanted to share my story. I knew I wanted it to be in service to other people and I wanted to help. So one thing I'm working on right now is, well, one, setting up a nonprofit through my Caribbean Lookbook platform.
Mhm.
And we could talk more about Caribbean Lookbook later on, but setting up a nonprofit through there so we could help people, kind of help survivors and help patients really kind of embrace and remember their power and remember who they
Mhm.
are, and trying to help them figure out what that looks like for each person. So, talking to Nubian Skin to see if we could get some breast forms in the country, and
Mm.
talking to the local Ministry of Health to see how we could distribute those through the breast clinics and make it a free thing so women don't have to really feel, uncomfortable or not like themselves during
Right.
that period of surgery to reconstruction if they choose to have any reconstruction.
Right. Right. So as you can see that it's quite difficult to find women of color
Yeah.
on social media platforms that are courageous enough to share their story. Um, and at the time that I was diagnosed in 2016, I mean, it was pretty much non-existent. Now there's more because of organizations like For the Rest of Us. There's definitely a presence out there to support and provide information. So we're very happy to have you and excited to welcome you as a part of our Baddie tribe and being another Baddie advocate. And yeah, because we're definitely wanting to educate our community as well as advocate so that we can close the gap with healthcare disparities. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest challenges that I've found is that the shame that comes with talking about the diagnosis. We are not open at all to talk
Yeah.
about, you know, as a family, on my family, I as well come from a long line of breast cancer and reproductive cancer
Mm-hmm.
survivors and thrivers. My grandmother, who was 101 years old when she passed last year, had breast cancer twice in her late 40s. And this was during a time when they just sliced them off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was an adult and after I was diagnosed that I actually heard her story of what she went through.
Mm. They
And
just keep it for themselves, and I don't know why.
yeah.
I don't understand it. I mean, like, I understand it, but I don't, because it didn't happen so much in my family. My family, we're very open about what's happening, and I credit my mother with that, because my grandmother, I didn't know anything she went through. I just knew, like, grandma was sick. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother, because my mother had to take her to the doctor often or whatever, she sat us down and she explained, like, all right, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, da da da. And then my mother was diagnosed, my aunt. So we had those conversations, kind of like this ongoing exploration of our history. So we were prepared, but when I talked to other people, other patients or other survivors, they they didn't have the same experience. They didn't even want to share anything really. Um, there was a lady when I went to the breast clinic because we have free public healthcare in Trinidad, right? So like we could just go and access whatever we need, which is a blessing. And so I went to the breast clinic one day for this routine appointment. And there's a woman in the clinic, and we strike up a conversation. And she was looking at my outfit and she was saying, "Oh, you're so brave. You're so brave to just be walking around like that, without a care and all that. I wish I could be as brave as you." And I'm like, "You can." I said, "But also, do what works for you. Like if you don't want to walk around like this." She was like, "Yeah, girl, I stuff my bra with socks. I'm not like I don't feel comfortable like walking around just like that. Like when I'm at home, I don't even go out into the yard because I don't want my neighbors to see me."
Wow.
I'm like, okay, we have a lot of work to do to break through this shame because there's nothing wrong with living your full life. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with receiving that diagnosis. We're in 2024. The science, the technology has advanced so much that
Right.
you could kind of get back to yourself faster.
Yes.
But culture eats strategy every time, right? So we're always gonna have people who have that level of shame, and it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe bit by bit we'll get there.
Yeah. So Mel, you're from Trinidad
Yeah.
and you have festivals, right? Or carnivals? Carnival.
Carnival, yeah.
Carnival. Okay. When is Carnival in Trinidad?
It depends on the Lenten season. So like this year it was February 12th and 13th. Well, the parade was the 12th and the 13th, but our festivities start really from Boxing Day.
Okay.
So it's like fetes and traditional events and traditional masquerades and characters from like all those months before that leads up to the 2 day street parade where everybody's just wilding out and it's amazing.
Okay. Do you participate in the street parades with the costumes?
I have before, but I haven't done it recently. I usually stick to Juve. Juve is the Monday morning mass where you're covered in like mud or oil or paint and powder and all kind of thing, and you're just wearing as little clothes as possible or as much.
Uh-huh.
And some people take it a step further and they dress up in these really intricate artistic kind of costumes, and some
Uh-huh.
people go the complete other way and they're nothing but like a thong and some pasties and they're just covered in mud and just kind of chipping through the streets, and it's just reckless abandon and it's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is I'm getting to a point, but I'm getting to a point. I'm getting there. But what is the significance of wearing the costumes or being covered in mud? Does it mean anything in particular?
For Juve, there is some symbolism there. It's the breaking of dawn. It's a kind of not rebellion. Well, yeah, I guess rebellion, because a lot of carnival stems from the abolition of slavery,
Mm-hmm.
and the we're mocking the masters basically with
Uh-huh.
the parade and with the costume. We're
Mm-hmm.
mocking them and their fanciness and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
we have all these different versions because there's the Haitian Carnival and there's Grenada Jab, and each thing has this connection to slavery and to the end of that and to, just kind of breaking free.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where most of it comes from. The pretty mass, what happens on Carnival Tuesday and Monday as well to a degree, is that that proper mockery of it. Now it's more of a, everybody just want to look real cute and
Mm-hmm.
dress up and be super artistic. But the core of Carnival is rebellion and anti-slavery.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So freedom.
so much freedom.
Okay. So have you, since having your surgery, have you participated in Carnival?
I did Juve this year. I did
All
Juve.
right.
Yeah, I didn't do it last year because still had I still had some healing to do. I had radiation to do, so I really didn't do too much.
Mm-hmm.
And the year before, I was still healing from everything. Like, I just wanted to kind of take my time. And I think I was a little fearful too of just being back out on the road. And there's this thing that happens in Trinidad because we're a small country, but we're not that small. So there's this kind of rolling discovery of me post surgery. And at first I was like, yeah, it's whatever, it's fine, and then I went to the grocery store and people were just kind of staring. And I had to remind myself, like, okay, people are not used to this, right? You're very out there with your flat chest. You look like a girl, but they're not sure. And, there's like, what's going on, that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And it took some time to kind of constantly remind myself that, hey, remember, not everybody knows what you're doing. Not everybody has seen your Instagram. Not everybody, is your friend or whatever. So they don't know. They will stare. They're not used to it. It's fine. And then
Mm-hmm.
a girlfriend of mine came to Trinidad this year for Carnival. She's from Nevis, and she has a platform called Island Girls Rock. And she
Mm-hmm.
has been one of those people, Chantal Miller, who's just been pouring into me, one of my tribe, pouring into me over the years, just reminding me of how powerful I am as well. And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, we're doing Juve this year, right? And I'm like, I guess. Okay. And we
I
did
don't
it.
know. I'm not sure yet.
And, I just went in there with like the skimpiest outfit. It was fine. It worked out. Yeah, it was great. I
How
lost
did
a
you
toenail,
feel?
but it's fine.
You lost what?
A toenail.
Oh Lord! How did you lose your toenail?
Chipping through the streets. I forgot how long the route is, and I probably wore the wrong sneakers. It was a mess, but yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was all kind of thing, but we made it, and it was great. And I look forward to next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So walk us through that moment leading up to, you were getting yourself dressed and prepared to go out on the road,
hmm
and then you were on the road. Tell us, like, emotionally, what was that like?
I emotionally it was fine. I don't think I had so much of a reaction to it, although I feel like the reaction was probably happening like all around me and I didn't realize it
Mm-hmm.
because usually I would play Juve just, fully uncovered, whatever, and it's fine. This year I wore a mask and like it's this pumpkin head mask. So you don't know who you're talking to unless we came together. And I'm just wearing like this kind of sheer bodysuit and fishnets and sneakers, and it's a very scantily clad kind of moment. But I have this mask on, so if you if you have not been following me, you wouldn't know who it is. But then if you know me and you look down and you see my chest, you'll be like, oh, it's Mel. So
Mm-hmm.
I had some of those moments in the crowd, but before that, I was just like, oh yeah, I want to wear a mask. I want to have this kind of look. But now that I think about it, I think I was probably trying to avoid having to have any conversations while on the road. I just wanted to enjoy the moment because I haven't done it in years. And I was like, I don't want anybody to ruin this for me. I don't want to be like having to hail out too many people and be like, hey, yeah, how you going? I just wanted to just play and just be covered in mud. And that was it. And it worked out, but yeah.
Okay. What do you think you'll do next year? Do you think you'll wear a mask?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
I wanna turn up the more artistic side of it because there are so many amazing costumes within Juve, and themes, and people, they tend to explore all sorts of different themes and moments and pop culture moments, especially within the Caribbean, and they dress accordingly. And I've never done that before. I was just like, hey, I'll just put on a short pants and whatever, or, and just go to the road. But I want to see what speaks to me next year and see what we could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. I've always wanted to participate in
Yeah.
Carnival, and I've seen, the costumes, and they can be, as like you said, as elaborate with the feathers and the wings.
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
And then the bathing suits, you can do a full bathing suit, or you can be real. You can show it all off if you want to. And I really one day hope to be able to do that because it looks like it's a lot of fun. The freedom of it is what inspires me.
Yeah, but we tell everybody, like, if you've never played mass before, start with a smaller carnival. Start with like a little Miami carnival, or something in New York or something like that, because Trinidad is the final boss, basically. Like, if you
Okay.
haven't played before, you will not make it through Trinidad Carnival at all.
Wow.
So
Okay.
try like a Barbados, which is like a 1 day thing. Try
Okay.
Jamaica, 1 day short route, that kind of thing. Trinidad, we go all the way, so there's no sleep. If you get like a nap in the car, that's it. But you have to pace yourself. We are literally the final boss when it comes to Carnival.
Wow. So how many miles and how in 2 days?
2 days because okay, so it starts with, I'm not even talking about all the parties and the fetes and all of that, right? There's that months before, and it's super concentrated the week before the parade. So there's like at least 6 events per day in that week. But Juve is the break of dawn Monday morning. So we're out there like from 3 a.m. until about 8 a.m., just walking around covered in paint and mud. And every band has a different route, but you're being judged as well. So, there are some judging points or whatever. Then you go home or go somewhere to change and get ready for Carnival Monday. Carnival Monday is where we have Monday wear, which is like a pared down version of the pretty costume you'll wear on Carnival Tuesday. Yeah. So Monday you're walking from, I have to calculate it, St. James to Port of Spain. It's, oh gosh. It could be like what's the length of a marathon? 10K? 5K?
Well, a marathon is 24 miles.
Right. Well, we do kilometers here, so it could be like a 10K or something.
Okay.
In total, because you're walking kind of around the entire city. And that's if you're playing in Port of Spain. We have Carnival happening kind of all over the island. So you do that on Monday, and it ends with Monday night mass in St. James. They have like pockets of activities happening all the time. And then you go home and you rest as best as possible. Get up on Tuesday. Some people have their makeup done at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, because you have to meet the band for around 7 to all take off together. And Tuesday is like just one of the most splendid days. Just even if you're just looking at the mass, looking at the parade, it's amazing to see. But it's even more amazing to be in the middle of it, jumping up.
Wow.
And it's like this all-inclusive experience. It's amazing. You have to come, basically.
Wow. Wow. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was a parade of survivors, of baddies?
Yeah. We'll need to be well hydrated, though, but yes.
Yeah. We might need a short route, though. Because all of us not going to make the whole route.
We would make it.
Yeah, but if we can have our own parade and like maybe...
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And the way Carnival has evolved, I think it has evolved in the best way for survivors, because they have these trucks now that are like misting trucks, right? Mm-hmm. So they literally just mist you with water all day. So you could have your champagne and stand up under the misting truck and still chip with the band and walk. They have these hospitality trailers where if you're tired from walking, you could just hop on there. It's air conditioned. It's all kind of like, it's this high-end experience. They have like massive lunch spots with brunch and it's crazy. But yeah, that would be amazing. Survivor band. We definitely
that might be something you're going to have to organize for us.
Oh, God.
I'm looking forward to it.
Enough group, then I can make something shake. We'll see.
Yes, that would be awesome. And we have baddies from. We have one of our sisters, Cynthia. She and her family are from Barbados.
Nice.
So she's going to be so excited to meet you and to work with you. I'm excited.
Yay.
So Mel, I always like to close out with something a little bit fun. We talked a lot about your journey, your advocacy, and how you were going to move forward now that you're on the other side of treatment. And congratulations to you. I'm so glad that you are here with us. And we hope that you'll come back and join us again and talk about some of being a single survivor. I am one of, have done several shows talking about being a single woman and after, trying to date after a diagnosis, but I am recently engaged. Yes, I'm excited. Thank you. So listen, I'm sitting here thinking about, I don't know how he gonna feel about me being half naked in the street.
Listen, that's why you have to ease him into, you know?
Yeah. So we'll cross that bridge, but we definitely would love to have you back on to talk up to our single baddies as well, to talk about, dating and love and sex after a diagnosis, but to keep it fun. So I always like to close out: chocolate or I should have been more prepared than this. Okay. Chocolate or caramel?
Chocolate.
Okay. All right. Milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. You're my kind of girl. Dark chocolate with salt. Yeah. Yep. Well, Mel, thank you for being with us. I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. Welcome to the Baddie Tribe. We are so happy to have you.
Thanks.
And yeah. So until next time, have a great one, baddies.
This is another Baddie creation brought to you by For the Rest of Us. Don't forget to subscribe to Baddie wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram at For the Breast of Us, on Twitter at The Breast of Us, and check us out online at breastofus.com. Thanks for listening.